Frequent flyer flies, la 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 la. Frequent flyers back.
What's up? You checking out the Frequent Flyer? Welcome back to the channel. Smash the like button to show your support. And if you're new to the channel, I like to extend a warm welcome as always. And so this is just going to be a quick review. Just going to run down all the specs and everything of this little Q25 from this little joint venture from SNT, DJI, and Diatone. This is the successor of the Q33 FPV kart racing. And so I'm just going to quickly run down the specs and just tell you what I want to say about this thing. This one has a lot of cool additions and it looks a little more like a car, although I think that it's a more cartoony car. It's not an actual replica type body of a car or anything like that. It looks kind of cartoony to me, although I do think that the really nice bright colors are pretty cool, and I'm really fond of this metallic gray one that I have too. So let's get back to the review table so we can get to it. So I want to say that this little car is awesome. It's very feature heavy. It has chassis lights for ground effects, turn signals that activate when you turn, brake lights. It has high beams and low beams, and you're able to toggle all the lights and everything off and on individually. And the chassis lights are changeable, so you can change the color of the chassis light with the press of a button from the transmitter. And you can also toggle the FPV camera off and on with the transmitter. That's right, you can toggle the power to the FPV camera off and on. That's big because it gives you a little more runtime. On the top here, there's a channel button, and there's 4 selectable channels for this thing. Each time you press it, it'll cycle through the channels to the next one. Transmitter has to be turned on first before the car would bind to it. And so once we bind, we have fast steering. The steering is pretty good, and it's really precise, a little more precise than before. So, and it's a nicer transmitter. And check this, guys. This button here toggles on the camera. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the camera's lights go off and on. See, we turned it on there. It's on channel 1. I turned it off. Toggled it back on, toggled it off. You can toggle on lights. So those are the chassis lights actually, so check it out. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe I'll have to turn this light off, my main light. Maybe you guys can see the glow from it. Okay, so that's the red color. We can cycle colors. Now it's kind of it's purple. Now it's blue. I have green here. It looks like a blue again, maybe turquoise. And then we have orange, and that's off. And so we can toggle on headlights as well. Let me spin it around there. So that's the headlights toggled on. That's the high beams toggled on. Headlights toggled off. So this transmitter is very functional. We have trims here for steering, and on this side we have power settings. And so the one with the negative symbol next to the power there, this one puts it at 70% throttle. This one puts it at 100% throttle. This little port here is not for charging the transmitter. This is for charging the little car. So down here on the bottom, you can slide this little latch back and this pops open. And then we have a 18650 in there, and that can be replaced or whatnot. You can't charge it while it's in the transmitter. And this little thing here is a little dongle, I guess I want to say, and it plugs in here, and then you can charge the car off of this little 18650. It doesn't indicate in English how many milliamp hours this thing is. I'm guessing it's in another language. The battery goes back in, button up. There is a vibrate function in this transmitter. So the transmitter vibrates every time you push any of these buttons. Oops, I forgot to store this thing back in here. You guys should be able to hear this. Listen. So that's the vibrate motor. And we have SNTICLO there. That's the name of the company. And this is a screw mount for a display of some sort. I guess they're going to come out with a display. I noticed that if you're in reverse and you go forward, it does that. It pops a little wheelie. On the box, they're saying this is 100th scale. But check it out. To the original, this is 176 scale. And so the wheelbase is definitely smaller, but I'm not sure if it's really a smaller footprint because this thing is really wide, and with the body and everything, it's just about just as long. The wheels are maybe the same size as the rear wheel of the Q33. Definitely an improvement though, with all the features that this little guy has, and it looks like an actual car. These goggles have a built-in DVR. There's a record indicator here. This light turns red when it's recording. There's an SD card slot here. Class 10 is recommended. I have lesser quality SD cards that do not work in this thing. There's a micro SD socket here for charging. It's not USB Type-C. There's a headphone jack here. I believe this thing plays back audio. This search button here doubles as the AV button. Short press for search, long press for AV. This menu button here doubles as the power button. If you hold it in for a while, it turns off the goggles. Channel button over here on this side, we have the band button. It comes default with only 4 channels, and those same 4 channels are on the car, selectable. But if you hold down these 2 buttons here at the same time for a few seconds, then you can unlock the channels, the rest of the frequencies or whatnot. And so there's 40 frequencies in all. There's 8 channels and 5 bands, I believe. This is the inside of the goggles here. They are box goggles. The instructions manual is in various languages, but if you look in here towards the back, you'll find English. And it's very detailed, black and white illustrations. Lets you see everything that you need to know about this thing. So on the tracks, I found that this little car is a little sensitive on the steering and the throttle as well. But if you have a light enough touch for the throttle and the steering, then you can get around on a track really well with this thing if you're not going too fast. It seems like it spins out, or you can oversteer very easy with this little car, but it's a big improvement over the way that it was in the beginning with the Q33. The Q33 upgraded one did get a lot better on the track, and this one is just a touch better than that one. Although I will say that line of sight, these cars are a little harder to steer on a track than it is, say, for the turbo racing little 176 scales. They're a little better suited for line of sight driving, but these things shine with the FPV driving on a little track. I apologize for not having a proper SD card to show you guys what the FPV looks like. I'll do that in another video. Thanks for watching.